So in this change and the perspective of younger researchers, there's a lot of influence from the strength of industry in AI and especially machine learning. They have the data, they have the compute, and they have the talent nowadays. So from academia, we feel sometimes that they are even doing fundamental research, that they have the resources. Sometimes we don't have the resources. So what do you think about this, the balance between academia and industry? Do you think that this is similar to other disciplines, or we are having a little bit that some of the tech giants are taking the lead in some fundamental question that perhaps academia should reflect with a little bit more calm about these things rather than just this, what's the next thing in the next conference? That is what is motivating some of these tech giant, the institutes that they have, the research teams that they have.
Yeah, it's one of the big questions of these days. I mean, on the one hand, you can say, and you know, my friend Gavin Brown has very good, you know, has written about this and has very good ideas about it. On the one hand, it's nothing new. Like, for example, chip design, computer hardware that went from the lab, and it's now something that companies do, and it's a commodity, and you know, computer graphics is another example, right? So we, you know, that started as a very theoretical concept, and now we have all these companies, you know, making animated films or computer-generated images or all the rest of it. So in some sense, stuff moving from the lab to kind of industry to consumer products is nothing new. But what you're describing is something different, which is that the big tech companies play a very big part in setting the research agenda. So it's not yet stuff that is ready to move out of the lab, but it moves out of the lab anyway and is being tried on us through our social networks, through our search engines. You know, if you and I type in the same query on the search engine, then we may not get the same answer because, you know, part of it is A/B testing, there's all the rest of it. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is that, you know, some conferences like NeurIPS, you know, 12,000 attendees or so, big companies boasting, we sent 100 or 200 people to the conference, we have 80 papers there. That's new, and I'm not sure. Well, let me put it this way: NeurIPS today is not. It's not the same conference even. It's just something with the same name, but it's a completely different beast, right? And that is in itself not good or bad, but you know, it's not anymore where I go to bump into people like you and just have an interesting discussion over a beer. Even if I know that you're there, it's pretty hard to find you, right? So this has completely changed the nature of the conference. It's a recruitment drive, so all the big tech go there to recruit people and so on. So for me, it's a bit like how I think of an airport as a big parking lot where occasionally some aeroplanes land and leave. A conference like NeurIPS is a big industry recruitment drive where there are also some academic papers and posters being presented. So we as an academic community need to rethink that. And so now we see, for example, something like AI Stats, which actually was going to be here in Valencia, but is a virtual conference, is kind of like the new NeurIPS because it's still this small scale, you know, mostly academic exchange of ideas. So I am worried a bit about it because, you know, there are plenty of undergraduate students that don't want to do a PhD anymore. Why would they? And they get a very good salary in industry. They get maybe 1 day a week to do their own stuff.